Can I search interest while I am being recorded? So I don't have to look at myself? Yes, I can, but I do have to talk later. But nonetheless, the expression will continue. I just wanted to debrief. Sorry, I'm picking a wedgie. I just wanted to debrief about my day because I had a very introspective, no, I had a very observant day where I noticed a lot of things. I took a lot of photos of things I just saw, like the pattern on the back of the crosswalk light for pedestrians. It has like a little hexagon on the back, and I never noticed it. I noticed it when I was playing a meditation in my headphones and I was walking to a bus stop. I also noticed some patterns in the disabled bathroom stall where like the handle was going with like the door. I don't know, I was just really noticing things today and it was kind of beautiful. And speaking of, I should go get, oh my god, my Pinterest board is amazing. Like my homepage. I'm like, oh, why is it amazing? It's like a dog because I browse it all the time, but it's a lot of naked women. That's not the point I'm getting at. The point is that I wanted to debrief and get out of my head is that I came to school, I skipped my morning class, and then I came to school and I smoked a cigarette with this girl I met at a party, and I, I don't want to talk about the interaction because it was pretty normal, nothing crazy, and we had a pretty good conversation. But what surprised me, I guess, or like a new experience I felt, it was very small, and it was for like a moment where I was coming up to her and she was sitting smoking a cigarette with her headphones on. Come up and she looks at me and there's no weirdness and there's no getting acquainted, and there was no like, you know, when you meet people, they're like, oh hi, like da-da-da. To her, with her it was just like hey, and she was like hey, and it was like we both like exhaled, not like actually, but it felt like that, and it was a good feeling. I just wanted to document that so I don't forget that because that was such a small moment of my day, but it surprised me. And then when we said bye, it was just as casual and normal. And then she looked back, and then I followed the same direction she was going until I realized my class was the other way. And because I was talking to her so much, I was already late to my next class, and then I decided to ditch it as well. And I just went to the library that I never sat at the school, and I went through this bookshelf, like just one, maybe like 5, 6 row bookshelf beside the only couch in the library. My headphones just turned off. They're really loud when they go power off. Can't believe my computer is out of storage. I've literally had it for like 5 months. Anyways, I was talking about the library. And at the library, when I go to the libraries, I just browse books like anyone does, and I was just trying to see which titles or pictures jumped at me, and I actually have 4 of the books that I ended up taking out. But I ended up spending, what time did I get to the library? By the time I ate, I had some Sri Lankan food today. It was like some roti. I don't know how you actually say it, but it was like cheese and mutton, and when I think of mutton, I just think of Minecraft. But it was really good, and it sat beautifully and gently in my stomach, unlike pizza I ate from this new pizza place at the food court. God damn, I never shat like that in my life. It was strange. It was bad. The pizza was so goddamn good. But now I know. I've tried most of the places at the food court now, which is good because then I know where to go and where not to go. But back to the books. I was browsing books. I'm trying to remember when like it was at least minimum 3 hours I was there reading books. And first I took some photography magazines, some, yeah, photography books. A lot of them were, the first one I picked up was from Berlin, and there was actually a photographer who placed his camera in the exact same spot over the years, taking pictures of the exact same spot, the exact same camera angle, just the only thing that changed was time. And he had the little tower in Berlin, I don't know what it's called, the tower with the ball. Frankly, I didn't know that was in Berlin, but now I do. And he took a picture, and there were a bunch of buildings, and there was that tower. And then he took another one, maybe like, I don't know, like 6 years later, and then there was a bunch of construction almost blocking it. And then he took it another like 6 years after those 6 years, and it was a completely different landscape. And he did that with a bunch of different places in Berlin, and I thought that was super, super cool. And how this guy, I'm pretty sure it's a guy. I don't even remember the name of the photographer who did it. Pretty sure it's a guy. But he just placed the camera in like random places in Berlin and did that. And a lot of it just like became construction and modern, which is like, yeah, that happens. But it was kind of sad to see how, like, there was just like a field of dirt basically he took a picture of, and then what, like 12, 15 years later or something, it was completely covered in concrete. It's like, oh man, the dirt's gone. I guess I've been having a lot of thoughts because I've read a lot, but I didn't realize I had thoughts until I was speaking. Maybe that's why I needed to speak, to get these thoughts out, because I read a lot today, or not like quantity, but quality. I consumed a lot of quality, interesting things that are interesting to me. And so I want to share what I've learned. So that was in the first photography book. The second one I picked up, it was like in this box, and I gravitated towards it because it had a very poetic. Let me see if I can remember. Let me Google it. Photo, a book, something about spit. It was a really poetic line. Spit title. A spit in the wait. Let me ask ChatGPT. Oh. Long live. God bless. I love ChatGPT. Hey ChatGPT. I was. Oops. What? Hey ChatGPT. I was wondering if you could help me remember the name of a book I read today. Of course. It was a box set with physical cardstock images. I mean photos, not images. Photos. It was a photography artist book that showcased a bunch of different topics. I don't know if I'm being specific enough. And had a index. Is that what you call it? An index with that separated the book by themes from A to Z, and the themes were one word. Like, what word was there? There was like naked, or the color, like naked. Um, it had a poetic title with the word spit in it that gravitated. I don't think ChatGPT cares, but gravitated me towards it. Let's see. Let's see. No. No, it doesn't. Spitfires. Wait, maybe was too quick to jump the gun. No, it's definitely not the one ChatGPT said. Also, okay, so ChatGPT couldn't help me, so I guess. Ooh, the book it did tell me that was the wrong book. Actually, it was really cool photos. It's interesting to me how I gravitate towards. I was thinking about this the other day because I'm reading Andre Asimans. Is that how you pronounce his name? I never talked about this out loud. I was gonna make a separate video about this. Should I? Okay, I'm gonna leave this and I'm gonna make a second video about the book I'm reading right now and the themes. But basically, the reason I was thinking about that book now is because the photos that came up were just two people making out, but with their tongues just out, and like the guy looks angry. Not angry, but like primal and scary. I don't know. But and there's another photo of two people like wrapped up in each other, and I just gravitate towards things like that, which is why I want to make a separate video about that. But yeah, okay, that's the first. No, that's the second book. Picked up a bunch, but in the end, I ended up taking out this book called Accidental Audience: Urban Interventions by Artists. And I started reading it, and I really liked that it was based in Toronto. Like, it was talking about public artworks like that people just put around Toronto to, I guess, cause an intervention, which is like what the book title is. For example, which one did I like? Let me remember. Let me look at the pictures. There was one that's memorable that this person placed like 20, no, not 20, like 100 trophies around Toronto, like random spots, like on an electrical box, on the window, on like just random spots around the city. And it was engraved into the trophy was good for you. And people just like noticed it and picked it up around the city. And all of these, what's it called? All of these artworks, I guess, or instances of art were done in a certain period of like the late 90s Toronto, and it's super cool how they have pictures of places that like I know where they're at. But like what, 25 years ago? 30 years ago? And I love that it's set in Toronto, and I wanted my own copy because someone annotated it, even though it's a library book, and it kind of helped me skip a lot of big clunks of text and kind of get to the point of it because I didn't want to sit there for 3 hours just reading this. I wanted to explore other books too. And I was trying to find if I could buy my own copy because I felt like I had a lot to annotate and a lot I wanted to say about this on my own time, on my own pace. But I couldn't find anything. I went on Amazon, it was like $120 for a paperback and not even an image. I asked Google. And you literally can't. You can take it out of like Toronto Public Libraries, I think. I didn't even check, I don't care. You can only take it out of like university libraries, which is kind of weird. But yeah, and this book goes off just way beyond these public arts. I could just do book review like when I'm done reading it. But the thing is, I read the whole thing. Like, I basically went through every page. I just didn't read the whole page. So I'm not going to be making... Maybe I will make another video on this. But yeah, this book is super cool. This one I didn't really skim. It just kind of caught my eye. It was like on the display shelf, and it's called Is Artificial Intelligence Racist? And the ethics of AI and the future of humanity, I think it is very relevant. And it's a question that I didn't even think about because I'm white. And thinking about how, obviously white people aka Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, who the fuck coded these AI motherfuckers, motherfucking AI, that it definitely has biases. And I mean, like, that's obvious. You can clearly tell ChatGPT has biases. You know what? My mom told me this. Someone tried to get ChatGPT to type back the reCAPTCHA that's like meant to evade robots and like artificial intelligence, so that like you need to be a human to access them. You know what I'm talking about. And so someone just sent a picture of it to ChatGPT, and ChatGPT said, "No, that's a reCAPTCHA. Like, I can't read that." But then the same person took that reCAPTCHA and put it on like a medal or something around like a woman's neck in like a circle, and like cropped and put the exact same image in there, and then wrote this like whole story to ChatGPT how it was like his dear aunt that passed away. It was like his dear aunt that like passed away, and there's a message that he can't really figure out how to read on her necklace, and was hoping ChatGPT could help, and ChatGPT fucking spelled it out. The reCAPTCHA fucking spelled it out. So ChatGPT knows more than it tells us it knows. It's just programmed to have a filter and have a barrier. You just have to know how to go around it, which is like not rocket science. I think that's common sense when you use ChatGPT. It's just that story. That story, I was like, wow, that's crazy. Okay, the other book, this is a book haul now. This I'm excited to read. This I am the most excited to read. It's called Today is the Last Day of the Rest of Your Life by Uli Lust. And look how fucking big it is. It's bigger than my goddamn head. But as you can see, it's a graphic comic book. So it's gonna read pretty fast, so I'm not really scared of how big it is and thick it is. The reason I was drawn to it is because I opened it, right? Just on a random page. And it was these two naked ladies lying, and I guess my Pinterest gave away, but like, you know, I'm drawn to that. And it was just these two girls, like very clearly they just fucked, just like lying in their bed. One of them had like short hair, so I got confused and I thought it was like straight for a second, like this book. But then she had short hair, but then she had her arm up, and then her boobs were just out. And I was like, oh man, that's not a dude. So I was like, god damn, I have to read it. And I skimmed the other pages, and they're like traveling, they're like talking, like, and then I read the back, and it says, there is sex, there are drugs, there is rock and roll, and there are stints in jail, inclement weather, panhandling, I don't know what panhandling means, life lessons, new friendships, acts of kindness, and acts of betrayal, and this being Sicily, some uncomfortably close brushes with the organization whose name you mustn't mention. The Mafia? I don't know. That's not what's written. I'm just asking a question. The winner of several European awards for graphic novel excellence. Today's the last day of the rest of your life has now finally been made available to American audience. Why were they hiding this from Americans? Well, I'll see, and I will also review. Oh my god, I have so many books I want to read, and every book I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 books now with the ones I took out today. And I have a random object as a bookmark in each of them, except maybe like 2. No, only 1 I haven't cracked open. But I have a toothpick bookmarking one. Obviously, I have a random piece of paper. I have a rubber band booking another one. I have a clear piece of tape taped onto itself bookmarking another one. I never have bookmarks. I mean, I do, but well, not here. I'm always lazy. I just pick the first thing I see. I'm always reading like 20 books at a time, and I never finish them. But I think that's the way to go. That's the way to go. I get bored of something, just keep reading something else. Why make myself sit down and finish reading just so I could say I finished reading a book? No thanks. Don't give a fuck. Okay, so this I'm excited to read. This is for fun. I love books to read for fun because, you know, these books are about like learning about, you know, like the world and like the way things are, like AI and like fucking art and society and what does it say? Public spaces. Here, it writes public spaces do not belong to government and advertising. The idea of public is inclusive and hopefully participatory. Participatory. It is our right, and perhaps more importantly for the future, an obligation to exercise and challenge the demarcation of truly public spaces. Let's not reduce the ideals behind the concept of public into simple publicity. That's interesting. It's talking about advertising and like bombardment of media in the world outside. But I think you got that from what I said earlier. But yeah. And the last book I picked was because it's pretty pictures. It's called Light and Emotions, Exploring Lighting Culture's Conversation with Lighting Designers. And boy, this is like what I was made for. Just thinking about the Billie Eilish song. But seriously, when I tell you, like, this, I actually, like, maybe look through 2 pictures, not to, like, spoil the whole book for me. Like, when I'm, like, on my own, I want to, like, explore all of it. But from the few pictures I've seen, this is, like, this is the kind of stuff that, like, hits me, like, touches me, caresses me, fondles me, hugs me, kisses me, fucks me, does everything to me on a soul level. Like color and lights and buildings and shadows and environment. Oh, this is beautiful. Oh my god, you can't like come on. Like what the fuck? What the fuck? I would like these are the kinds of photos I take in my free time, except they're worse because I'm not an actual photographer and I use my iPhone SE 13 2022. I don't know. I only use the SE iPhones with the home button because I am scared of change. That got way too deep. I'm scared of learning. I'm not even scared anymore of learning how to not use a home button. I'm just so I have no excuses. I'm just the next phone I'm gonna get is not gonna have a home button, and I will just accept that. But that's completely off point. This is the other book. I don't want to ruin it because spoil it. I mean, because it's all pictures, and I want to go slowly and I want to savor it. So that's what else I got. I'm not gonna go into like my other million books that have been standing here for like a month because they're mostly all like educational because I was on break from school and my brain was never stimulated. I have common sense economics, I have war and conflict, I have critical race theory, I have why knowing things still matters when facts are so easy to look up. I actually love that book. I read most of it and I took notes on it. But I wanted to talk about my day. That's why I was talking about the books. Then I left the library, right? And remember that book. Wait, no, I didn't take that book out. Why am I looking? Remember that book I said that I asked ChatGPT to find the name of? That was a photography book. That photography book that came in a box set had like these cardstock, cardboard prints, you could say, with photos, like high res photos of the photographers inside. I thought it was one photographer, but it's actually a different photographer. And it went like alphabetically based on subject. There was naked, there was blood, there was they were just really vulnerable topics, and they had very vulnerable pictures. And it was really I was gonna say prutiful, pretty and beautiful. And where I was going with that is those prints. I didn't realize they were prints. I thought they were just pieces of cardboard, and I took them out, and it was so high res. I was so happy and excited, and I went through a bunch of them. They were all kind of abstract, with like exposure and like whatever. Like it was all kind of unintelligible, what it was, but it was still pretty and colors and stuff. But there was one photo where there was a mother, I guess, sitting with her legs open in a bathtub, holding the head of this newborn baby had his eyes closed, and I don't know, the baby looked like it was in heaven. and it was definitely just born and like cleaned off and like put in the center of this picture. But it was like I was staring at that picture and it was so like I just got goosebumps. I just got goosebumps talking about this. Just picturing the picture. It was literally exactly what I described. Like it was just it was kind of tinted, kind of grayish filter, but it was literally and the baby had a little brown hair, like short brown hair, and it had its eyes closed, and it's literally exactly as I'm describing it. And the view was like from the top, so the baby's face was like straight in the middle. I don't know what it was about that photo, but I couldn't stop staring at it. And then I put these cardboards, these cool cardboards that I discovered back in the box set, and then eventually I leave the library, you know, yada yada. I'm on the subway. On the way home. And I look over to my left, and there's this guy in a wheelchair, and he's shuffling through these similar looking artsy pieces of cardboard that are about the same size as the cardboards I discovered earlier. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. And that's really similar to what I like discovered, you could say, like explored earlier today. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And I go back to like, you know, listen to my podcast, minding my business. And then the guy eventually comes up to me and he goes, oh, like I had a kid, like I have a newborn, and I make this art that I'm selling for money to take care of the newborn. Would you buy it? And I said, yes, of course. And it was like this synchronicity and this like kind of like everything's connected moment that I had. I was like, oh, it might not sound like a big deal, but it's just this connection and similarity, and it's beyond. It's beyond me, it's beyond, you know. And then he was kind of shuffling through them, and I saw one. I picked it, I said, I want that one. I didn't even think, I said, I want that one. And he was like, okay, and he gives it to me, shakes my hand, he asks my name, and I sent him the money, like I e-transferred him because I didn't have cash, and he was really sweet. And then I got the picture, and on the subway back, I was staring at it, and on the bus after the subway, I was staring at it from different angles. From the angle I got it, from a diagonal angle, from a vertical angle, and it was like paint splatter on like a dollar store canvas. Because he needed money, like it's understandable. And it was on this light blue canvas. It's in the other room, but I don't really want to go get it. It's like about this big. And it had like you know, marble paint? Like marble paint, I think that's pretty explanatory. There were like lines that were like making these ripples in the paint. And there's these bright, vivid colors in the middle. I'm literally describing this painting that's literally like my class in school. So I guess I'm practicing for class. There's this like saturated bright pink in the middle and yellow, and then there's this like brown, like dark tree oak brown, like, and then there's pinks, there's greens, and I can't explain it, but it has like some really sharp lines, like making a grid almost, and then there's this like fluid in the middle, and I was staring at it, and I was like, I made the wrong choice, but then I was like, why do I feel that? And then I was like, but when I picked it in the moment, I didn't even think and picked it. I saw it in the moment I saw it, I just said, I want it. And he was showing me a few before, and I didn't react to any of them. I reacted to that one. And it got me thinking, I'm like, well, then there's something in this painting. And if I'm right now, as I'm talking, I'm figuring this out, because this was all in my head, now I'm vocalizing it. I guess because I was questioning whether or not, hold on, my brain's overheating a little bit. I guess if I'm questioning whether I picked the wrong one, that's a reaction. That painting gave me a reaction. If it was neutral, Like, if I didn't feel anything towards it, I wouldn't be like, oh, did I pick the wrong one? I would be like, right? And I was just gonna be like, okay. But me thinking, am I thinking too much? I don't know, but it's just how I feel. And if I'm thinking so much about it, I mean, I think a lot about a lot of things, too much. A lot. In case you guys were wondering about me and my thoughts. We do engage with each other a lot. However, this time doesn't feel like I'm overthinking it or I'm over rationalizing it. When I'm saying this, it actually resonates like in here. And I guess the painting resonates with me, and the colors do, definitely. And the energy transfer of the money makes sense. The interaction, what was I gonna say? How do I explain it? Because I'm kind of losing what I wanted to say. When I was second guessing whether I made the right choice, I kind of zoomed out and thought this painting represents the moment and the experience I had more than its actual, like, physical visual, right? And the visual, I had a moment to see it and a reaction to it, and then I got it, and then I was like, whoa. I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't even know what I'm saying. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying because I don't know where I'm going. But anyways, that happened and that was like a synchronicity and like a what the fuck this universe actually works and swirls and is connected because I do lose faith and I'm like, is the invisible even real? Like, I can't even fucking see it. Like, is it real? But then I have to remind myself, like, no, bitch, everything that's real is invisible. Everything that matters, genuinely matters, is invisible. I mean, other than like food, water, air, shelter, clothes, the basic stuff. That stuff is real. But beyond those things, for thriving, it's all invisible. Yeah. That concludes my update. I guess this is a diary entry for January 23rd, 2020. 2020. No, if it's the camera's this way. 2025. 2025. 20. I'm gonna go do the artist's way. It's almost the end of the week. So tomorrow's gonna be the end of my second week, and I will be making an update. And I guess I'm creative again. What? I will post more videos. What? Yes. Have a good night. 30 minutes.